Welcome, everyone. I'm Eric Bolten, Vice President Business Development with Zixi, and my good friend.
Yes, I'm Harjinder Sandhu, Director of Product Management at Evertz for encoding and decoding solutions.
Perfect, and we're going to talk today about our joint experience and partnership in live golf and live contribution and error-free over IP. A little bit about Zixi up here on my wall. Software-defined platform. We are used in live linear and live events. We're the market leader and have been around for about 15 years. We've got 100,000 plus global instances, over 100 countries, 700 plus clients, et cetera, well known for the protocol, but we're more than a protocol. We're a large platform, and we have an Echo partner system of 350, and Evertz as one of our more valuable. And this on your slide.
So, in continuation to that, Evertz is the edge encoding, decoding platform that extends into the Zixi ecosystem. So, we're at the edge, picking up the SDI uncompressed signal and encoding it in lowest latency possible, and sending it over Zixi protocol into the Zixi ecosystem. So, at that point, it's very critical to bring in low latency, high quality encoding, and these are FPGA-based encoding decoding products that deliver the ultra low latency that is possible with the codecs that we have, which is HEVC or H.264. And the platforms you see on the screen are the XPS Edge for throwdown applications. You've got XPS with 5G technology as well to connect within 5G network, as well as the modular XPS card for high density applications.
And we think that within the live golf application that we were centering around, we can show how we were in the production booth using the Evertz Edge encoding, setting the path. While the world is starting to adopt IP production contribution workflows, we can see the possibility with 5G. Have you guys done much on the 5G realm?
Yeah, 5G is very much in a trial phase now. It's tested in controlled environments, in arenas and such. It's not widely deployed or adopted yet, but it's promising to solve a lot of problems, right? It's promising that you don't need bonded networks anymore. You will have the high speed that you require when you are mobile. Is it completely practical now? I don't think so. I think it's a backup link in a lot of cases, that you've got your wired connection as well as you have your mobile connection as a backup. What is happening here in this application is the requirement of getting low latency signal over public internet. So the combination was just unheard of 4 or 5 years ago, but it's very, very mainstream now. Is you are contributing, you are sending signals over these lossy networks, and you need protocols like Zixi to be able to reliably get your content from A to B without the packet loss, without the errors that are in the field. So what happens is you've got XPS and the platform at the edge, which is going to take uncompressed signal in any format. 2110, it's okay. SDI up to 4K, it can handle that. It can handle in high density, which means up to 4 channels in a single unit you're able to encode. And what protocols does it support what codecs does it support? It's got H.264, it's got HEVC, and it's got JPEG XS on the roadmap as well. Once you have your content encoded, you have various different protocols that you can send it out, and a lot of customers utilize Zixi's protocol because of its superior error recovery mechanisms and quality of service. So that's a simple handoff into the Zixi ecosystem, and from there on, the content is in Zixi's world. The operators have full flexibility, and then when it's ready to be delivered to the end user, to an SDI endpoint, you then use the XPS decoding capabilities to reverse that and to get the XPS signal from Zixi back to SDI.
We appreciate the plugs on that front. And I think, as you described, 5 years ago, this was still mainstreaming. And what we can see now with IP production, one, it doesn't matter what network you start, 2110, et cetera, and you can bond. And 5G not fully there, but the open internet, far more powerful than people realize.
Yep.
And then it's a contribute once, deliver to any model. So you can handle your OTT delivery, your social service, and all the way down to the cable MSOs and the edge devices you described. I think that the reliability, latency is a setting. In the Zixi world, we'll take advantage of the network. Obviously, there's a trade-off between quality of service, overhead, and what you're trying to achieve. In the Live Golf example, we were able to deliver super low latency, super high quality, tier 1 production broadcast level. And from there, this is just opening the doors of possibilities as sports in general move from production, from traditional fiber, satellite, and migrate fully towards IP.
Talk a little bit about the visibility that operator has once the content is leaving the endpoint unit and is going into the cloud.
Well, it's a great point. So traditionally, our industry runs very blind, which is amazing. And in Zixi's case, we have a control plane layer called ZenMaster. We were working with our friends at Evertz, also NAB and Verizon. So we were able to use video NOCs and provide tool sets that allow people to see every single set of telemetry along the supply chain that hops through the cloud, multiple hops through network, multiple regions of the globe. And it's kind of ironic that people could function without that, and you'd be using something simple like a net return feed. And now we can see it down to the IP address, we can see packet loss, we can see TR101 analysis, and do all those pieces to confirm from a quantitative standpoint what the signal path looks like in its health score.
Yeah, and I've used ZenMaster myself, and the tool set that you have is amazing. And once you use it, using your system without it is almost flying blind. And the beauty is Evertz and other encoders are also integrated into ZenMaster, so you don't leave the ZenMaster control plane at all. So as an operator, you're operating ZenMaster, and it is giving you the controls at the edge of your encoder parameters. We use reverse SSH to be able to reach out to the endpoints, as well as what is happening during the different hops within the cloud regions. You could be going from one region to another region, and ZenMaster, using Zen Broadcaster, is making those connections and giving you the visibility that's needed to pull all of that together.
No, and it's important because traditionally, like you said, SSH into an interface, be able to see something. You can run everything remotely. You can have diverse teams, and it's difficult because engineering resources are scarce. They're expensive. You need to let operators be able to manage this level of complexity at an abstracted layer, and we're going to see a lot more of it. And I think that as we, as an industry, move towards the multi-access edge compute, and we'll be seeing a lot more of ourselves together, I think this is the larger trend that we're sort of pushing along.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, you're going to have uncompressed content at the edge, and that is not going to travel through cloud. So you need compression. What mistake a lot of people make is they sacrifice at the edge, and that's the most important part. If you encode it in poor quality or higher latency, the minute you have the SDI, there is no coming back from that. There is nothing that is going to recover your quality once it's crappily compressed. So that's why XPS wins a lot of shootouts, compared to the competition, is because you need to encode and preserve that quality as early as possible. Now, once you have that, now it's a matter of traveling it safely, and that's where Zixi's protocol comes into handy, that it's preserving the packets that have been handed to it. It cannot improve the quality of the video that has been compressed poorly. So that's why the combination is very, very powerful and very well accepted in the industry, is that you have FPGAs that will do, and you can, no matter how fast you make a CPU, it will not encode faster than FPGA. It will not take less power than the FPGA. It will not become more compact than an FPGA platform. FPGA platforms are not easy to design, but once done well, they do that really, really well. So that's why Evertz is heavily focused in the past in FPGA-based encoding, decoding technologies, and that expertise comes into XPS. So you're looking at 80 milliseconds, 110 milliseconds of encoding, decoding latency in HEVC. That's ridiculous when you have compared to, you've got 1.2 seconds in a software encoder. And, yes, software encoders, they're advertised as being very flexible at the edge and all that, but they're just servers running someone's code to do the encoding, and their latency is going to be higher than FPGAs. So once you bring that low latency encoding at the edge, and then you feed it into the platform, then you need the tools, the visibility into the network and getting it to the endpoint in as best quality as possible. So that's the combination.
No question, and you're right, especially the gains that you made in terms of latency, the gains in terms of quality. Zixi will deliver whatever it's given. So if it's given a lesser package, it will deliver that perfectly. But in this time, and especially with downstream processing, if you're going to hand off to do some HLS transcoding, you're trying to start at mezzanine quality or ProRes or better. So, and also the idea of stream to store. So it's not just that you're taking the live broadcast, but you're recording in real time, you're skipping a file transfer step, you're making content available immediately for repurposing and promo.
And another thing is, if you encode in best quality possible with the best bit rate possible and get it up there, if you have an endpoint that is bandwidth scarce and it needs a lower res, a lower bit rate, Zixi's broadcaster will transcode it to a lower bit rate and get it to that point. So you don't have to sacrifice every endpoint for one person that can't receive 20 meg stream, because it can be transcoded down to 5 megs and get it to him. Or protocol conversions. You don't have to use a crappy protocol because one endpoint can't receive Zixi, because then the Zen master and the broadcaster will transcode the protocol as well and get it out to them in the protocol that they wish to receive it.
That's right. We believe in the industry lives on interoperability, so we support 17 protocols. We'll take whatever it requires to come in and come out, but typically in the larger payload, the payload, the video delivery, it's going to be in Zixi, but at the endpoint, it could be HLS, RTMP, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so I think that sort of sums up the chat discussion that we wanted to sort of communicate was, in an applications where latency is critical, where quality of service is critical, where visibility is critical, you bring the best of the breed sort of together, and you utilize the encoding platforms out there, the transport protocols out there, an overall solution that delivers you the content in a reliable form. Maybe you want to close.
I think you've summed it up perfectly. We'll have to give you a Zixi business card. No, and I just think that the idea, obviously, tier 1 sports, we cover a lot of things from NHL and MLB, etc. And now we're doing Live Golf and going to be doing another season, so we're excited about that. And we look forward to working more with Evertz as we start to define how the world leads top quality contribution.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys.